Hello everyone. When it comes to serverless, we used to things like microservices, right? Microservices, independent services communicate each other. But there is also another approach called monolith. In monolith, we put everything Lambda function. That means the entire application will go into a single Lambda function. So that is can be useful for some use cases. And in today's video, we will see how to set up Monolith Lambda using NestJS and Serverless Framework. So let's get started.
Before we dive into the hands-on exercise, let us check few theory concepts. So here it is, monolith lambda, single application, sit inside the lambda, which will serve for all the requests. Yeah, and here it is the definition. What is monolith lambda? It's a single lambda. A single lambda for a single application. Okay, so all the business logic are wrapped inside a single lambda. Then there are the key characteristics. It's a single large function, hold all the business logic, to handle multiple responsibility, and the code base is complex. There are some drawbacks. And cold start. When you start the Lambda, there is a starting time. Okay, when you invoke the Lambda first time, there is a starting time. So it will take some time to start to serve for the first request. In case of monolith Lambda, it has to do a lot of things. So it will you can expect little longer cold start, and it is also difficult for scaling purpose. Okay, these are the limitations. And what are the perfect use cases for monolith Lambda? First one is lift and shift migrations. You have some application you want to immediately move it to the cloud. So that is the perfect use case to go with the monolith Lambda. And second, if you have a small, simple application, you can use monolith Lambda architecture style. And cost consideration. If you are fearing about number of lambdas and invocation costs, so many things, then if you want to reduce the cost, you can go with the monolith Lambda. These are the limitations and these are the use cases. Now let's get our hands dirty. Let's start a small hands-on exercise where we will set up how to set up monolith Lambda using the help of with the help of NestJS and serverless framework. Now let us see the development environment prerequisite. We need to have Node.js installed, and there is a command here. I kept the command npm install -g npm. Ensure you have Node.js installed, and you also need to have NestJS CLI. So NestJS is a progressive framework for Node.js application. We'll be using the NestJS framework for this hands-on. So it's important to have NestJS CLI installed. And also, we need to have AWS CLI installed and configured in our workstation. And there is a video I put. There is a video tutorial I put said how to set up AWS CLI. You can watch this video to set up your environment. And the fourth one is serverless framework. We'll be using the infrastructure as a code approach. So we need third-party tool serverless framework, and this can be achieved by npm install serverless, and that's it. Now let's start our hands-on. Now let us verify the workstation by I'm starting my terminal. Then I will type node -v to ensure I have node installed. Yes, I have installed a node version 22. Okay, then I will check nest.js version nest -v. Expecting to get a response from the terminal. Yes, I got a Nest.js installed, the CLI installed at 10.4.7. Then I also need AWS CLI installed, AWS -v, AWS dash version. Yes, I got AWS CLI installed. And I also need serverless framework. So I am just typing SLS -v to ensure whether I have serverless installed or not. Yes, I got Serverless Framework 4.6.7, 4.6.2 installed. So my workstation is perfectly ready for this hands-on. Now let me start my project. Let me close this terminal. Now I will open the terminal. I will open my project directory. Okay. Then I'll select a folder. Then I'm creating a new folder. Okay, new project in this folder. In this terminal, I'm going to create a new nest project. So to create a new nest project, I'm just typing nest new test monolith. Okay, test monolith, nest new test monolith. This is the command I'm going to enter so that it will create a new nest application. Okay, hit enter. Then I have been prompted with three options. Which package manager would you love to use? So I'm going with the NPM, the default option, hit enter. Now the initial application, the scaffolding and bootstrapping is happening right now. This will create the complete project for me. Let us wait for the installation to be completed. Now you see the installation is completed. Now let's go into this directory test monolith and then type code dot so that this project will get opened in the VS Code. Once the project gets opened, click the terminal menu and click open new terminal. Once the terminal is ready, we need to enter a couple of packages. So the package is Lambda. We need to install Lambda, AWS Lambda, and we need to also install the other package, AWS Serverless Express. Enter dash dash save so that this will be referenced in the package.json. Hit enter. Now wait for the installation to be completed. Now these two packages got installed. Now we need to install a few more dev dependencies. I'm copying the dev dependencies, which is serverless Jetpack and serverless offline. Okay, so this application can be tested in the offline also. So serverless offline and dash D for dev dependency. Hit enter and wait for the installation to be completed. Okay, done. Now we have installed both dependencies. Now open src folder from the project directory. In the under the src directory, you create a new file. Click new file, and you can put any name, but I'm putting lambda.ts. So this file will hold the handler method for the lambda. Okay. So create the lambda.ts under the source directory. Now, inside the lambda.ts, I'm pasting some code so that we can save some time. So I paste this code. Okay, this is this is the code which will be provided to the lambda handler. Okay, so this code is nothing but handler method. You see, export const handler method, and we are providing the bootstrap server. What is bootstrap server? It is a nest application. Nest application, and we load the app module for this whole application. We load the entire app module. Nest application is a modular based, and the entire application is bootstrapped into the app module will have all the references of the application. So nest factory dot create this method will take the app module and provide a nest application, and the nest application will be initialized and created as a server. Express server. And this is the logic. So the whole application is now converted here as a Lambda. Okay. Now we are going to follow the infrastructure as a code since we have installed serverless framework in the project root directory. Okay, in the project root directory, create a file called serverless.yml. Serverless.yml will be in the root directory of the project. Okay. Now inside the serverless.yml file, I'm pasting some code, some configuration. So this is the nothing but serverless configuration to create resources in AWS cloud. So let's call this one like the service name. Let's call this one like a test monolith. Okay. So the whole application will be referenced by this name, test monolith. And there is a configuration section called the plugins where we mention we use two dependencies, Jetpack and serverless offline. And the provider configuration, we have to mention what is the provider or cloud configuration. Here the name is AWS. Okay, our cloud. We are going to push everything to the AWS cloud. So this is the thing, and which is Node runtime. Required runtime Node.js and region. This is my current region, and these are the configuration I put. My stage is dev environment. Okay, and I have the environment and I have only one function. Okay, it's just the main function. The function name is the main function. The handler here is what I need to provide the reference to the handler, which is I'm calling this one lambda.handler. Lambda is the name of the file which is under the this lambda.ts. Okay, inside it there is a object called a handler method. So this is what reference. Then what is dist? If you build the application, so this application will create files under dist folder, will the published version. So the path is and the root level dist slash lambda.handler. So from here, during the deployment, it will build and take the resources, take the files from copy the files from this location. So dist slash lambda handler, and there is an event. So this lambda will be backed by a API gateway event HTTP method any. And here is the point. The path is any plus. Okay. So any path, any route can be provided here. So the application can serve the different based on this different routes. Okay. This is the serverless configuration we put in this for this application. Okay. Then you come to the package.json file. Under the script section, we'll add few more scripts. Okay. So I added script local. What local will do? npm run build. So this will build it in the watch mode and SLS offline start. npm run local command will do these actions. Okay. And deploy command, it will call build and it will push the resources to the cloud. SLS serverless deploy. This command will push everything to the cloud. So I pasted these two commands in the script section. Okay. Once done that, now I come to app controller. That's a default app controller. Inside the controller, I give the name here. Okay, this is okay. I put home controller, and this is having what get method, get hello. If I call this one the get method, then this will get printed, which is inside the app service get hello. There is a service also linked with this component. The service this will be printing hello world. Okay. Now let's test by in the local environment. To test, what we need to do, we need to run the command npm run local. npm run local will do this exactly. Local npm run build and SLS offline start. Okay. Now let's hit npm run local, hit enter. Now you can see application started building. It will build and provide this in offline mode, serverless offline. So we can test everything before we publish to the cloud. So the build is successful. Now we need to copy this URL and we can test it in the local development environment. So localhost 3000. Okay. Now let me open the Postman tool and paste the link here. Okay. Link here. I remove the one. This is a default one. Okay. Dev. And we can put home. Okay. This is what I entered home and click to send. Let's wait for the response. Yes, now we got the response, hello world. So our API is working fine in the local environment. Now let us go and add one more route. Control C for the closing and clear the terminal. Now let's create another route. Okay. Now let's create one more module, one more route to see in action. To create one more route, we need to create another set of module and controller. So in Nest, we can create like Nest generate, generate, generate module. Okay, module user, for example, user. Okay, so let's wait for Nest CLI to generate this module for us. Yes, we got the new module, and also we will create new controller. Nest generate controller user. Nest generate controller user. Now let's wait for the Nest to create this. Yeah, the new controller has been created. Now let's open the user newly created, the module linked with the controller. This module controller has a name user. Now let's create a method. Okay, we can copy this method from app controller even. Okay, get a method and paste it here. And this time, oh, this is okay. Now we need to add this get. We need to refer the get method, and I don't want to bring it from the service. I simply return this is from user. Okay, so I simply return this is from user text whenever anybody hit the user controller. Okay, now things are ready. Now let's one more time go and test this one. So to test, we need to run npm run local. So the build is successful. Now they are available for the testing. Now open the Postman again and hit the home again. Same URL. Now change the URL path and type customer. Okay, sorry, user. This is what our here route user. See, this is from the user. So this is how we bootstrap the entire application into a single Lambda. Now we are satisfied, we are conform, and we are happy with our application. Now we need to, this is the time to move it to the cloud. Okay. To move it to the cloud, to publish everything, to deploy everything, we have a command npm run deploy. So what it will do, it will, you can see npm run build, it will build and it will deploy to the cloud, SLS deploy. Okay. This is what we mentioned here. Now let's wait for this tools will This, let's wait for the tools to provision all these resources. You can see this is creating a dist folder in the root directory. You see, this is during the build process, this is creating a dist directory. So the Lambda, you see the Lambda function, this is referring the path, the package.json. Sorry, you see the serverless.yaml file. Serverless.yaml file is referring the file from the dist folder. Okay, dist lambda handler. So dist lambda handler, this one. Now you see that this is creating the AWS CloudFormation stack. Okay, behind the scene, this SLS deploy is creating the CloudFormation stack and using the CloudFormation to deploy all the resources to the AWS cloud. Now let's wait for the deployment completed. Let's wait for the completion of the deployment. Now the deployment is completed. Service deploy to stack. Test monolith dev. And this is the endpoint, any. Copy the endpoint URL till here. Copy it. Go to the Postman now. Open the next tab. Hit enter. Okay. Inside it, just click home. Now we are testing it from the cloud. Home. Now try one more route user. So it's working perfectly, okay, in the cloud. Now let's go to the AWS cloud and to see the now let's go to the AWS cloud console to see the resources. Now I am in the AWS console screen. Let's go to the Lambda. Okay, Lambda, the one we created is here. Test monolith dev main. This is the method. Okay, Lambda. If you go to the Lambda, if you go to the code tab, you will see the whole application is bootstrapped into a single Lambda function. You see the source, if you see the source and the dist file, especially, everything is inside, user and everything. All the source is inside. So this is how we can achieve monolith Lambda using with the help of NestJS and serverless framework.